So today's class, again, is going to be sort of an all-over gentle body stretch. You'll want your yoga blocks if you have them. If you don't have them, it's not a big deal. You could also use a simple bed pillow, a cushion for what we're going to do later on in class. You can also do it without the block, just as effective. We're going to start, per usual, on your backs in a reclining supine position. So as you lay back, feel free to reach for any props here that you might want. It might feel more comfortable to have your neck supported, in which case a pillow or a block under your head could work. If your low back is feeling tight, you are more than welcome to keep your knees bent. I like teepee pose, taking the feet a bit wider than the hips, the knees inwards. You can also reach for a pillow or a blanket, place that under your knees so you can extend the legs forwards a bit but still keep the knees soft. If comfortable as well, you can extend your legs fully forwards, come into a more traditional reclining position. As you get comfortable here, find an equally comfortable position with the arms. If it feels best to keep your hands on your body, feel free. If it's accessible and comfortable, try sending the arms out a little wider, maybe into a wide A position, so that the palms can rotate open and the shoulders can rotate back. Wherever you are, take any small adjustments to your body that might feel needed to be a bit more settled and comfortable here on your back. Allow your eyes to softly close. And as always, if it's not comfortable to close your eyes, maybe try softening the gaze. You might look towards the tip of your nose or just half shut the eyelids. Start to become aware of the sound, sensation, and rhythm of your own natural breath. Not trying to change anything about it just yet, but just becoming aware of the movement, the length, and the sound of each inhale and exhale. Noticing where you might feel your breath at this moment moving through your body. And then bringing your awareness towards the belly. Feeling a bit more movement there as you inhale, feeling the navel rise to the ceiling. As you exhale, feeling the navel release. Start to take longer, deeper breaths in and out now. Working towards a 5 to 6 second count in through the nose and a 5 to 6 second count out through the nose. Now creating a rhythmic breath, this breath that will guide you through your practice today, supporting you through times of stillness and carrying you through movement. Let your awareness begin to scan through your body, from your head to your feet, from your fingers to your toes. Listen for any subtle messages your body might be trying to give you today. Checking for areas that might feel tired or sore, stiff. Areas as well that might feel full of life, energy. We'll use those areas to support the ones that might not feel 100%. Another 20 seconds or so here to create that rhythm of breath so that it becomes part of your body. As your body remembers the new rhythm, there's no need to think towards the breath. It's there, part of you. Now placing your thumbs on the pads of your index fingers, start to draw gentle circles, thumb around index. Become aware of sensation, touch, pattern, texture. Move your thumbs to your middle fingers, same soft circles. To your ring fingers, difference of sensation, movement, and pinkies. We'll tap back the other direction, tapping pinky to thumb, ring to thumb, middle, and index. Stretch your fingers out nice and long, wide until you stretch the skin between each finger. Curl your fingers a few times in and out of fists. Hold your fist, flex it back and forth, maybe side to side, and then draw some circles. Circling both directions. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. Start to wiggle your toes. Flex and point your feet. Find that full body stretch, a few ankle circles. One more deep breath in. As you exhale, we're going to slowly start to bend your knees, placing your feet on the floor. And then from there, draw your knees into your chest. First right, then left. Feel free to keep your eyes closed here or allow them to slowly blink back open. As you hug your knees, take gentle rocks from side to side. And then place your palms on your kneecaps and start to draw circles, circling your knees around your hips as if you were drawing circles on the ceiling. Do about 5 or 6 circles in one direction, and then 5 or 6 circles in the other direction. For now, keeping your left knee bent and your right knee in your chest, set your left foot down on the mat. Still keeping the left knee bent, so we're easy on the low back. Give that right knee a nice big hug. Your hands could go over the front of the knee towards the front of the shin. You could also hug from behind the knee. Do what grip feels best. And again, we're going to draw some circles now with just your right knee. So warming up the hip flexors, the low back. Again, about 4 to 5 circles one direction, 4 to 5 circles back the other direction. Once you're even, right knee gets one more good hug into the chest. And then again, you'll lift your left knee back to your chest. A few more circles of both knees. And then we'll switch sides. Keeping your left knee in, your right knee bent, set your right foot on the mat. Give that left knee a good hug inwards towards the chest. Be mindful of letting your right knee fall out wide. Try to keep the foot planted flat to the floor. So we're not letting that right knee go lazy. We're keeping some engagement through the inner thigh and across the ball mound of the foot. Draw your circles with your left knee. Again, a few in one direction, few in the other. Once you're even in both directions, give your left knee another good squeeze. One more time, bring your right knee up to meet your left. Now we're going to take the knees out a bit wider, so they're more towards the outside of the rib cage. As you hug them in, you might feel a deeper stretch in the inner thighs and hips. Feel free to stay right here. We're going to come towards a modified version of Happy Baby. Take both hands behind your knees, pressing the thighs down towards the belly. Flex your feet to the ceiling. So rather than gripping the ankles or the feet just yet, warming up a little bit more by having the grip behind the knees. Feel free to rock this a little bit from side to side if that feels good. Or you could just hold it center and breathe as you press the knees down towards your armpits. Take another couple of breaths here. Good, and then let the knees, once again, fully bend, dropping the heels. Move your hands back to your kneecaps, and we're going to start to draw in and out circles. So you'll take the knees a bit wider, a little forwards, back together, and into the center of your chest. Circling out, around, and back in. After about 5 circles, one direction, reverse that direction, taking the knees together, out, around, in, and back together again. Once again, you're even on both directions. Knees are going to come back to center at the middle of your chest. I'm going to take this neck stretch a little deeper. So you're going to hold the right knee with your right hand, or actually with both hands. Extend your left leg now all the way forwards. If this feels like it's too much for your low back, you're free to rebend your left knee and set your left foot on the floor. Again, the grip could be at the front of the knee or behind the knee. Do what feels best. Just make sure you're not grabbing on the kneecap itself, but you're slightly below the knee. Give that right knee a bit deeper hug into the chest until you feel a little bit of pressure on the outer belly. Take one more full breath. Bring your left knee back up to meet your right, and we'll switch legs. Left knee will draw into your chest as you extend your right leg forwards. Think about gently flexing the right foot just so you keep the toes pointing towards the ceiling. Again, we don't want to externally rotate the right leg. You almost want to feel like you're internally rotating, pressing the inner thigh towards the floor as you hug the left knee towards the outer rib cage. Take 2 more breaths here. Good. Again, bring your right knee up to meet your left. Once both knees are lifted, now we're going to extend both legs up to the ceiling. Just a moment to allow the blood to start to move away from the feet, back down to the low back and hips. Eventually a little more back towards the heart, giving your heart a break. Flex and point your feet. Circle your ankles. Bend your knees back into your chest. And then inhale, extend both arms and legs to the ceiling. Circle wrists and ankles. Get all those pops out. And then exhale, bend your knees back into your chest. One more time. Inhale, extend the legs to the ceiling, arms to the ceiling. Exhale, knees bend in. Good. Set your left foot down. Set your right foot down. I'm going to walk the feet out to about the width of your yoga mat, letting the knees rest together at center, finding teepee. If accessible as well, you might pigeon toe your feet slightly. So having the toes more in of the heels a bit wider than the toes. That'll help to widen the low back a bit more as well. Take your arms to a wide A position. Try to draw the shoulders down away from your ears, palms resting upwards. Drop your right ear towards the floor, turning your right cheek towards the mat. Looking to the right as much as it's comfortable for your neck. And then think about relaxing the left shoulder away from the left ear. So we find a passive stretch in the neck. Slowly bring your head back to center. And then turn your head to the left. Same thing here. Left ear, left cheek as close to the floor as it's comfortable. Relax the right shoulder away from the right ear. Bring your head slowly back to center. And now once again, both arms are going to go over your head. And you'll extend both legs back forwards out in front of you. Take a big stretch from fingers to toes. And then we'll catch a hold of your right wrist with your left hand and gently guide the right wrist towards the back left corner of your mat. If it's too much on your shoulders to have the bind, you're free to release the bind and just reach both hands to the left. You can also bend the elbows as much as needed to relax the shoulders. If you're wanting more, move both of your feet to the front left corner. And for still more, drape your right ankle over the left. If you feel that too much though in the low back or the front of the right hip, then keep both feet on the floor. Think about creating a banana or half moon shape with your body. Again, binds are completely optional. I'm going to take about 4 more breaths here. Move your right foot back towards center. Move your head and arms back towards center. We'll give the shoulders a quick break by bringing the knees back into your chest. Giving the knees a little squeeze, a little rock side to side. Give your low back a break. And then second side. Set both feet down. Reach both arms over your head. Extend both legs forwards. Once here, catch your left wrist. Take your left wrist to the back right corner of your mat. Again, if this is too much for the shoulders, release the bind and just reach both arms any amount to the right. You can also bend the elbows to allow the shoulders to release. And if you're wanting more, again, you can move both feet to the front right corner. Left ankle over right for still more. Breathe into the left side of your body, from the left hip bone all the way up towards the left armpit. Take one more breath here. And now slowly move your left foot back to the left corner of your mat. Arms, head. And then as you exhale, slowly slide both feet in. Bring both arms down. Come back to teepee pose, taking a moment to rest. Hands could be folded over your body or out into a wide A. We'll take about 4 breaths here just to release the shoulders and low back. And now from this teepee position, keeping your feet wide, again, at least the width of your hips slightly wider than your hips, or maybe even the width of your yoga mat. You're going to begin to windshield wiper your knees side to side. This is a staggered windshield wiper, so the knees should be apart from each other as they fall from side to side. One knee will come towards the center of your mat, the other knee will go wide. Creates a passive twist as they rock side to side. The next time your knees go right, we're going to hold the knees to the right. Arms can still be in your A position. They might open a bit wider for a bit more into a T position. If you're wanting a little more side body stretch, try reaching your left arm at a slight diagonal angle above the left shoulder, and you might feel a bit more length from the left hip bone to the left armpit. For more sensation in the left hip, if it's safe for your knees and particularly the left side of your low back. You can place your right heel above the crease of your left knee and let the weight of your right leg draw the left knee down. If you feel any pulling sensation though in the left back, keep your right foot though on the mat for safety. Gaze can turn to the left to add a bit more twist, or gaze could stay neutral to the ceiling. Take one more breath here. If you have your right foot lifted, at this point set your right foot back down to the mat. We'll inhale, take the knees back to center. Reset here, checking that the hips are even and aligned. The feet are both flat to the mat. Bring the arms back to neutral, and then let the knees fall all the way to the left. Now your right knee will go center, your left knee will go wide. Arms can stay in an A or a T. For a bit more, your right arm will just raise at a slight diagonal above your shoulder. You can also place the left heel above the crease of the right knee. And here, if you like that extra bit of stretch, but it's almost too much for the hip, you can place a block underneath your left knee or even underneath the right knee. Both will give you a bit of support while adding a bit more to the stretch. Gaze can turn to the right fingertips if it's okay for your neck. Otherwise, gaze is neutral to the ceiling. We've got about 4 more breaths here. If your left foot is lifted, return your left foot back to the mat. Use your inhale to slowly bring your knees back to center. Again, once both feet are on the floor, adjust your hips so that they feel in line with your shoulders and you feel equal weight in both hips. Let the knees come back to teepee. A couple more breaths. Return the arms back to your wide A position, neutral position. Close your eyes and breathe. We'll take about 5 breaths here. We'll keep your feet wide as you let the knees open up. And then from there, draw your knees into your chest. We're coming back to that wide knee position with the knees. Take your hands once more behind the knees as you press your knees in towards your belly. And then again, flex the feet to the ceiling. Modified happy baby. We'll take about 3 breaths here. Work on lowering the tailbone towards the floor, getting the spine as flat as possible. That'll keep your stretch more towards your glutes and hips and less in the low back. Now I'm going to slowly extend the legs upwards towards the ceiling, still keeping them nice and wide. You might let them fall a little wider here, supporting the legs with your hands. If you're wanting a bit more, bring your palms to the insides of your inner thighs and start to press the thighs a little more open. Flexing the feet will help you keep from overextending on the inner knee. Just take a couple more breaths here. You can keep the knees as micro bent as needed as well to make this pose safer for your knees. 1 more breath. If your hands are on the inside of your legs, once again, bring the hands behind your knees. Slowly start to re-bend the knees. Once the knees are bent, the heels are dropped. Bring your hands back to your kneecaps. We're going to draw those same in and out circles that we did before. Again, make sure you circle both directions. So about 4 to 5 one direction and 4 to 5 in the other. Once your knees even, bring your knees back together. Let yourself rock a couple of times, side to side. Now we're going to roll all the way over onto one side. Your choice of right or left, whichever side feels more comfortable. Give yourself a few moments on your side to rest. You've been on your back for a while, so we want to let the blood kind of start to move down away from your head a bit. And then keeping your head nice and heavy, slowly start to press yourself up to seated. Good. Once you come up to seated, I'm going to start by just extending your legs forwards, getting a bit of movement into an extended leg. Rock yourself side to side on your hips. Take a couple flex and points of your feet, a few circles of the ankles, taking the feet in the same direction. Back the other direction. And then we'll take the feet in opposite directions, opening the feet wide, pointing the toes, bringing them around and in. This is a really good reset for the hips and low back in particular. And then back the other direction. From here, I'm going to re-bend your knees and kind of come back towards that same teepee position we were in on your back. Coming kind of towards the front of your sit bones. You can lengthen the spine upwards. Have the feet about the width of your yoga mat with the toes slightly turned out on this one rather than the pigeon toe. I'm going to do a few seated rounds of cat-cow and then come into a very wide butterfly position. Placing your hands on your shins, we'll inhale. Think about opening the knees, and you want to imagine your chest was coming forwards through the legs, lifting the heart forwards and up. And then as you exhale, we're going to round back, pulling back against the shins, opening the back side of the body. Again, inhale, coming forwards, lifting the chest and heart, and then exhale, taking it back. Couple more here. As you inhale, think about opening the knees a little wider. We're going to start to roll towards the outer edges of your feet. And then you'll exhale. Just let the knees come to neutral, feet flat to the floor. 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. 2. Good. 1 more full round. We're going to come back towards the cow shape. So you'll let the knees start to open. Roll to the outer edges of your feet. Bring your hands now to the insides of your knees. Using the forearms to gently begin to press the knees, maybe a little more open. Give yourself a little rock side to side here. So we're almost in a butterfly position, but we're keeping it pretty wide for now. Good. Now keeping the knees open. We're going to reach the arms forwards, try to sit up nice and tall, and then you're going to start to reach forwards as if someone was pulling your hands, bringing your upper body more through your legs. Keep reaching forwards, and then think about relaxing the knees towards the mat. Just take a couple more breaths here. You can always bring the fingertips to the floor if needed, or just find that reach forwards for a bit more. 1 more breath. Good, and then slowly start to pull the upper body back. You're going to place your hands at your ankles or your shins and slowly walk the feet inwards until you can come to butterfly. We're going to keep it a bit of a wider butterfly today, so having the heels a little further away from the body so you have a wider diamond between your legs, rather than trying to bring the heels right in right away. If you need support for your knees or hips, your blocks can go underneath your knees or thighs to take the weight off of the knees and hips. And then from here, place your hands on your shins. I'm going to do a few rounds of cat-cow. As you inhale, chest forwards, lifting the upper body. So we get more into the thoracic area, the middle back. And then as you exhale, let the back round, chin to chest. Again, inhale, pull the shoulder blades down and back, heart pulls forwards and up. And then exhale, let it round. 3 more of these. Inhale. And exhale. 2. And 1. Now, once again, sitting nice and tall. We're going to keep your right knee bent, lifting the left side. Take the left leg out into a half straddle. Again, for support, you might place a block underneath the right knee or a block underneath the left knee, or keep a bend in the left knee itself. Again, we're trying to avoid any overstretching on the left side. You can keep the right foot where it is, or for more, start to move your right foot closer towards your inner left thigh, any amount that's comfortable for you. From here, we're going to place the fingertips on the mat, lean the upper body forwards just a few inches until you start to feel more of a stretch on your inner left thigh. And then from there, we're going to take a walk over towards your right knee. So first, folding towards the right knee, but keeping the chest somewhat lifted. So the back is more straight than rounded, heart pulling forwards. Keep driving down through your left heel, and notice if your left hip and left butt cheek are trying to leave the floor. Try to press the hip down to the mat. Good. From here, we're going to walk the hands back through center. So again, we're not going quite all the way into a forward fold. We're about halfway forwards. And walk your hands now to your left leg. So we're kind of moving the stretch around the back side of the body. We're going to keep this half lift, half fold, and bring your left hand onto your left shin. Bring your right hand behind your head. Make sure you're not pushing on the back of the head. It's just there, resting lightly. You can even push your head into the palm, but don't push the palm into the head. On your next inhale, we're going to start to open. So you'll begin to rotate the rib cage to the right as you lift your right elbow. And then as you exhale, lower the right elbow, lower the right rib cage. 4 more like that. Inhale, lift, and open. Exhale, rotate, and close. Good. 3 more. Inhale, and exhale. Last 2. And 1 more. Holding here. You're in a side bend. Think about lifting the right elbow towards the ceiling and lifting the right armpit. That'll take it more into the rib cage and out of the shoulder. The left rib cage is rotating forward, so the right rib cage can rotate back. Head is neutral, but if you wanted a little bit more, you could turn your gaze up to the right to the ceiling. We'll just take about 3 more breaths here. Lightweight in the left hand. You can always slide the hand a little higher up if this is starting to be too much for your low back. Now from here, reach your right arm up to the ceiling. We're going to take that right hand, slowly pulling back up to seated. Plant your right hand about 6 inches to a foot behind your right hip. Roll towards the inside of your left leg so the left hip can lift. And you're going to swing your right arm over your left arm over your left ear. I'm going to draw some circles here. So you're going to bring the left arm down towards the knee, back to the left leg, up and around. Feel like that. As your arm comes over your head, we're going to reverse those circles. So you'll take the circles back, forwards to the knee, up towards the ear, and down. Next time your left arm moves over your ear, we're going to hold here. You could stay right here. If you're wanting something a little stronger, transfer the weight to the right shin and the right knee. You're going to lift the hips, pressing the hips forwards as you reach deeper through the left fingertips. Wherever you are, hold for 3, 2, and then slowly lower the hips if they were lifted. Let your upper body come back to center. We're going to slide your left hand in under your left knee. Bring the left knee in. Set the left foot down so the heel is right in front of the right foot itself. And we're going to twist. Twisting to your left. Right hand to the front of the left knee or shin. Left fingertips behind the left hip. Looking over your left shoulder. One more breath here. And then release. Coming back to center, we're going to let the left knee reopen, lift the right, and extend the right leg out into a half straddle. Again, you could keep the left foot as far away from the right leg as needed. You can keep as much of a bend in the knee as needed, and you can even place your block underneath your right knee or the left. If you're wanting a bit more, then you can move the left foot closer to your inner right thigh. Make sure though it's safe for the knee, safe for your hips. From here, we're going to try to sit up nice and tall, keeping the spine long. So just setting the fingertips in front of your left shin and leaning forwards, as if you were trying to see something on the other side. Imagine there was a fence in front of you, or you're just trying to look over that fence. So we're not coming quite into a full forward fold. And then from there, you'll walk your hands to the left. You're coming towards the left knee, but we don't want that right hip to lift. So we're pressing the right hip and the right heel down. Couple more breaths here. Good. Stay in this kind of half forward fold and walk your hands through center. And then we're going to walk the hands towards the right side. Pausing here for a couple of breaths. You'll feel the stretch maybe transfer a bit more to the back left side of the body. And then staying in this half fold, half lift, take your right palm onto your right shin or even onto the right thigh. From there, your left hand's going to go behind your head. Again, no pressure on the back of the head. Keep the chin at neutral. Next inhale, we're going to start to lift. Notice if one side maybe feels a little different than the other. Exhale, lower the elbow down. Good. Again, inhale, spinning the left elbow, left armpit, left rib cage open. And then exhale, bringing it back down. We've got 3 more here. Inhale. And exhale. 2. 1 more. Lifting and holding this time. So again, think about the left elbow lifting towards the ceiling. And then for more, the left armpit lifting towards the ceiling. You'll feel the rib cage expand. Head is neutral. Or if you want more, gaze is going to look up to the left towards the ceiling. Hold for 3, 2. Next inhale, extend the left arm. Reach it back. Use the left side body to come back up to seated. Reaching the left arm back behind you, place your left palm about a foot behind your left hip. I'm going to roll towards the left knee and shin. Come to the inside edge of your right foot. Right hip will lift. From there, we're going to take your right arm over your ear and then take the right hand down, sweep it past the knee, towards the right leg, up, around, and over. So again, drawing about 4 to 5 circles this direction. And then as the arm comes over the ear, we'll reverse the circles, taking the arm back towards the leg, front to the knee, forwards, up and around. Once circles are even and the arm comes back over the ear, you're going to hold here, reaching through the right fingertips. Again, if you're wanting something a little stronger, start to shift your weight towards your left knee, left shin. Try lifting the hips and then reach deeper through the right fingertips. Gate pose. Hold for 3, 2. Good. Next exhale, slowly set the knees down or the hips. As the hips come down, we'll come to forwards to center. Slide your right hand in under your right knee. Lift the right knee. Move it towards the front of your left ankle, and we'll twist. Left hand's going to come to the right shin. You'll hug the knee towards the chest as you twist your shoulders and chest to the right. Good, now from here, release the twist. And we're going to keep your right knee bent, lift the left, and we'll come back towards the straddle position, taking your feet back to about the width of your mat with your knees bent. Same cat-cow, but we're going to add a little more range of motion this time. Hands to your shins, just below the knee. As you inhale, pull your chest forwards and up through the thighs. Now as you exhale, bring the knees together at center, so you come to that teepee position. Good, inhale, sit tall, open the knees, open the chest. And then as you exhale, the knees close, the back side of the body gets to open. 3 more here, inhale. Good, and exhale. Last 2. And 1. We're going to hold at back. So once you're in this position, start to walk your hands back. You're going to use your hands more as a counterbalance. So you should be able to hold this position without hands. I'm going to start to windshield wiper the knees. So like we did on your back, keeping the feet nice and wide. So it goes a little more into your hips. You might feel a bit of a massage in your glutes as well. As this side-to-side movement starts to get more comfortable, I'm going to add an arm movement to it. As your knees go right, keep the weight in the right palm. You're going to release the left arm, reach it to the right, and then as the knees come back to center, the left palm's going to plant, the knees will go to the left, and the right arm will come overhead. As the knees move back to center, the right arm will come down, knees go to the right, left arm stretches. You're going to keep going a few times from side to side, moving with your breath. You'll kind of find a rhythm that works for you. Good, the next time you windshield wiper to your right, we're going to hold to the right. That right arms or left arm is going to be over your head. Knees should have both fallen to the right, kind of in this staggered figure 4 position. Now turn towards the right knee, placing the right palm down. So you're actually twisting the upper body out over your right thigh. You can stay here, or if you want more, walk your hands to the right. So you begin to fold over the right thigh. You can even come onto your forearms. So in very, very modified pigeon style pose. Holding here a few breaths. If blocks are accessible, then coming onto your forearms on the floor isn't quite accessible, you can always use blocks under the forearms as well. Good, lifting back to palms. Walk your hands back in. Bring the right hand behind your right hip so it's there for balance. And then take your left arm up, bring both knees up, and we're going to switch sides. So you plant the left palm, roll to the left, knees down. Once that right arm swings overhead, you'll lower the right hand down so you're twisting your upper body out over your left leg. Stay here or walk the hands forwards to begin to fold to the left. And again, you could come to forearms if you're wanting a bit more, or place forearms on blocks. Take one more breath here. And then coming back onto palms, walking the hands back in, using the left hand for balance. One more time, we're gonna take that right arm overhead, coming back to seated, a couple of those wide knee cat-cows. You'll inhale, chest forwards, exhale, let it round. Good, inhale, and exhale. Last one. From here, sit up nice and tall. This is where we will use your block. So if you have a yoga block, grab that. If you don't have a yoga block, you can always use a soup pan, a pillow, or a rolled up blanket. We're going to use the yoga block for a psoas stretch. Again, it might be a little too intense. You might not use a prop at all. From here, we've got the knees bent. So make sure you have plenty of space to lie back on your mat. Walk your hands back behind you. Again, windshield wiper your knees a few times from side to side. And then from this position, start to lower onto your forearms. Once you're on your forearms and elbows, walk the feet in a few inches so they're stable on the floor, and then ease yourself back onto your back. Once you're on your back, we'll take a few more windshield wipers side to side, just to let the back feel the floor once again. From here, bring your knees once more into your chest. Just a moment to stretch out your low back. Rock it out side to side. And then again, draw some circles with your knees. Extend both legs to the ceiling for a moment. Flex and point. Bend both of your knees and slowly lower one foot at a time back to the mat. From here, we're going to have the heels in slightly towards the glutes for now, but at a place where your feet can be flat to the floor. So you don't want to walk them so far back that you can't feel weight in the feet themselves. Knees are going to be about hips-width distance apart. I'm going to use your block to lift your hips into a supported bridge. I would stay with the lowest setting, the flat wide setting, rather than going up. You can go up, but it's quite intense. So if you have a looser low back or you have looser hip flexors, you might take it up a notch. But again, I'm going to stay with the flat low slide. From here, press into your feet using your inner thighs, glutes, and heels. Lift your hips and then slide the block underneath your hips until it's just across your sacrum, the flat part of your low back. You want to have that block completely positioned so that the low back can rest on the block fully. And then let the arms relax down. We're going to take a few breaths here, just kind of noticing where you feel the block, noticing whether or not you need to adjust the block or your hips. You could stay right here the entire time and go no further, especially if what we do next is too much for your low back. To take this further, we're going to keep your left foot on the floor for now and begin to walk the right foot forwards. So just starting to extend your right leg, sliding the foot along the floor, little bit at a time until maybe that right leg can fully extend. Heel on the ground. Again, if you feel this at all too much in your low back, bend the knee as much as needed until any pulling from the low back goes away. If this feels good to you and you want a bit more, from here you can start to lift your left knee back in towards your chest. Just make sure that the left hip does not leave the block. You could bring the knee deeper into the chest, or you could even extend the left leg to the ceiling. That'll add a little bit more oppositional stretch on the right side. Flex and point your right foot, or your left foot rather, if that feels good. I'm going to take a couple more breaths here. If you have your left leg extended, bend the left knee back to the chest. From there, we're going to return the left foot back to the mat, moving a little quicker through these so we can hold the end pose a bit longer. Slide your right heel back in. As you slide the right heel in, think about activating that hamstring a little bit as the heel slides in. Once your right foot's completely on the floor, maybe adjust that block underneath your hips. Make sure you feel stable. And then with the right foot on the mat, start to slide the left foot forwards. You're going to find a point that feels good. Maybe extending the leg fully, but again, if it's too much for your low back, keep a slight bend in the knee as much as needed. If you can take this deeper, you can bring the right knee to your chest, hug the knee in, or extend the right leg upwards. Again, a few more breaths here. Good, one more breath. And then you'll slowly start to re-bend your right knee. Set the right foot back down. Press the left heel into the floor. Slide the left heel back in. Use the hamstring. Once both feet are on the mat, again, adjust your hips. At any point you need to come off the block, you can do what we're about to do next without the block. The block's just there for a little extra. So option one, we're going to go hold here in supported bridge. Knees bent, hips on the block, palms down outside the hips. Option number two, supported bridge, but you're going to reach your arms up over your head to get a little bit more length into the upper body. Option three, arms stay down alongside the hips, but you're going to begin to extend both legs forwards in the amount that's safe for your low back. Option four, legs extend forwards, arms reach over your head. Then I'll hold here for 8 breaths, whatever option you choose, whether your legs are extended or your knees are bent. whether your arms are down or your palms are overhead. Last couple of breaths. If your arms are overhead, you're going to slowly bring one arm at a time back down, palms to the floor. From there, if your legs are extended, one heel at a time, slide the legs in until both feet are on the floor. Once both feet are on the mat, use both palms, triceps, heels, and glutes to aid in lifting the hips so the low back doesn't have to do any work. Once the hips are lifted, slide your block or pillow out from underneath. Think about reaching your tail towards your heels. So you're going to kind of tuck the tailbone up, the navel to the nose. So the tailbone, as you lower one vertebra at a time, is the last thing to touch. We get as much length in the spine as possible. Once your hips are on the mat, we're going to come back to teepee pose one more time, just to give the low back a chance to widen and release. Feet wide, knees in. Palms can fall out wide or stay crossed over your body. We'll take 5 breaths here. Let the knees softly windshield wiper a couple times side to side. Doesn't need to be big movement, just a little bit of a massage for the low back, the hips. Good, last time. You'll bring the knees into your chest, keeping them wide. Hands behind the knees, a little rock side to side. And then one last happy baby. Again, hands can go behind the knees. You'll flex the feet to the ceiling. You might walk the hands this time up towards the ankles, making sure your arms are on the insides of the knees and shins. You can also reach for the feet if accessible. Hands can go to the inner or outer edges of the feet. But again, you want the arms to be on the inside of the legs. Press the knees down towards the floor outside your armpits and shoulders. Feel free to rock this if it feels good. Feel free to breathe and find stillness. One more breath. If you have a hold of ankles or feet, slowly start to release that grip. Let your palms come back to your kneecaps. Drop the heels, and we're going to one more time take those in and out circles of the knees to release your hips. Few one direction and a few back the other direction. Once you're even, knees get one more good hug. And then lower your feet to the floor. At this point, feel free to reach for any props that you might want for your final relaxation. Maybe a pillow for your head if you don't have one already, or a pillow for under your knees. You can also place your blocks under your knees as well. Feel free to keep the knees bent, neutral or teepee position. Feel free as well to begin to extend your legs forwards out in front of you. Take a few moments here to adjust any areas of your body that might need to move to feel more comfortable. Allowing your feet to fall heavy. See if the arms can fall wide. Once again, palms rotating upwards so that the shoulders can rotate back. But then also so that the fingertips don't touch anything. No sensation to interrupt your brain. If it's comfortable, close your eyes. If not, soften your gaze, look towards your nose, or half shut your eyelids. Take a full deep breath in through your nose. As you exhale, open your mouth and take a nice long exhale from the mouth. Again, deep breath in through your nose. Long exhale out of your mouth. Bottom of your exhale, let your lips seal. Lightly enough, your teeth can still part. Allow your jaw and tongue to be heavy. Allow your throat to soften. Open. Your breath to flow. Once again, become aware of the sound, the rhythm, and the sensation of your breath. Following your breath inwards to your body. Becoming aware of sensations, movement, as you feel your mind wander, knowing that it's natural for it to do so. Let your breath guide you back inwards, staying focused on your body for the next few moments. If your mind's left your body or left the room, come back to the movements of your breath, the rise and fall of your belly, the expansion, contraction of your rib cage and chest. Add sensation and movement by running your thumbs across the tips of your fingers and wiggle your toes. Bring sound back to your inhales, movements back to your hands and feet, wrists and ankles. With an inhale, stretch long, reaching as if you've just woken in the morning. As you exhale for today, just bend the knees once more, setting the feet on the floor, and take a few windshield wipers last time side to side. From here, you'll eventually roll over to one side, again right or left. A few final breaths to rest and pause. Keeping your head heavy. Once more, lift yourself up to seated. Thank you very much for joining me today. Namaste.